Andrew Boynton from the Greater New York Music and Creative Arts Department and percussionist in the New York Staff Band. Today I'm going to give some tips to percussionists who are preparing the snare drum solos for the Rising Stars competition. When you're starting your preparation, it's very important to make sure that you're using a metronome to keep you playing in time. Whether you use a metronome like this or an app on your phone like Pro Metronome, it's important to start slow enough that you can play all of the rhythms and stickings accurately. Don't start to increase the speed until you can play everything perfectly. Another helpful tip is to work on your snare drum roll to make a smooth, sustained sound, making sure your hands are even at all times. You can practice in front of a mirror or record yourself to see if your hands are at the same height as you play. Make sure you're holding onto the stick between the thumb and the first finger, and that you're letting the stick bounce freely. Something that's been really helpful to me in developing my roll is to use my whole forearm bending from the elbow, instead of just your wrist. While I use my wrist for all other rhythms, using the added weight of my arms helps to create a more consistent buzz sound to create a smooth, clean roll. Try playing 8 buzzed eighth notes on each hand and listen for consistency in each stroke. Then start to put the hands back together, making sure the hands remain even and that one isn't louder than the other. Now let's take a look at the notes that have small grace notes tied to them. You'll want to make sure you know the difference between your flams, ruffs, and 4-stroke ruffs. Each of these has a different number of grace notes, and you'll need to be able to play each of them accurately. The grace notes need to sound much softer than the main note, so we'll need to make sure that we control that with our stick height. The flam has 1 grace note, so one hand will start low and the other high. Keeping that distance and letting them move downward at the same time will create a nice, tight sounding flam. Practice these alternating and look and listen for consistency between hands. The ruff or drag has 2 grace notes. You'll need to practice getting your grace note stick to only bounce twice, using the same distance you used with the flam. And the 4-stroke ruff, which is the most difficult, has 3 grace notes. You can either alternate hands or use the sticking right, left, left, right. It's still important that the grace notes are much softer than the main note, and that the grace notes lead to the main note in energy and volume. Practice each of these and make sure you hear the correct number of grace notes for each. My favorite part about the snare drum solos for levels 1 through 4 is that they were written so the percussionist can be accompanied by either a pianist or a brass instrument, and each solo corresponds with a Salvation Army hymn tune. The level 4 solo, Joyful, for example, was written based on the song Joy in the Salvation Army and can be accompanied by using tune number 719. Even for Sunday morning worship. Percussionists, I hope you find these tips helpful as you prepare your solos. Happy practicing, and I look forward to hearing your solos soon.